And remember, I don't want to miss that one, Safin and Dent, 7 out here on the West Coast. Goodbye from Indian Wells.
Welcome to South Bend, where some Irish eyes still manage a smile despite the disappointment over Notre Dame's near miss for an NCAA bid. Excitement here as the Fighting Irish figure to be a major player in what should be a highly competitive NIT presented by Jordan. Tonight, 2 schools who could well have been playing in the NCAAs as Notre Dame plays host to Holy Cross, the regular season champions in the Patriot League. Welcome to South Bend. Dave Barnett, Tim McCormick. These 2 teams very representative of the entire NIT field this year in that they both started this season fully expecting to be in the NCAA tournament, and they're convinced tonight that they could play in that field if they were given the chance.
Yeah, I agree, Dave. And we have a very deep and talented roster. Indiana, Maryland, Missouri, DePaul, all deserving teams in their own right. Now, the big story here, I talked to players from both teams. They're very excited. And the word they keep using is opportunity. Opportunity to keep playing and possibly get to New York. And in a film session last night, Mike Bray said, guys, treat Holy Cross like a Big East team. They're talented, they're tough, and Dave, I really expect a competitive game.
It's a bonus home game in the mind of Chris Thomas, who did not finish what he thought was his final home game against Pitt very well. Chris Thomas in some very heady company in Notre Dame history, the 3rd all-time scoring leader behind only Austin Carr and Adrian Dantley.
Yeah, and Mike Bray today called him the most over-scrutinized player in college basketball. You look at the numbers and the fact that he elevated this Notre Dame program, he's one of the all-time Irish greats.
He's on our Star Watch all 4 years, a member of the All-Big East team, and Kevin Hamilton this year is the Patriot League Player of the Year. 15.5 points per game to lead the Crusaders. We will have the tip-off from South Bend, Indiana in a moment.
Listen, Michael, this is really hard for me to say, but I gotta say it. I'm gonna be better than you, way better. And I know nobody believes me now, but I don't care, because they didn't believe you either. I mean, everyone said your big brother was gonna be the star, not you. But no, you didn't listen, not to them or not to anyone. You just listened to your heart. And that's all I'm doing, Mike, listening. And I'm sorry, but my heart is saying it's time for you to step to the side, big brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SUV Championships.
Anybody can ride an SUV. Not everybody rides it right.
He's pushing it too hard.
Without respect for what they're capable of, it's easy to see why a lot of riders take the role. SUVs are big and powerful. And on top of one, you can feel almost invincible.
Easy now, big fella.
Keeping your SUV in off course.
Look at that control.
That's the idea, right?
She's been like this for hours.
The temporary condition caused by your interrupted satellite signal. I call it dish eye. We see a lot of it during the rapid solidification of atmospheric vapors.
What's that?
The rain, sir.
Hooked on good entertainment, even in bad weather? Get hooked on Charter Digital, where your favorite shows never get rained out. The variety you want, the quality you deserve.
Goodbye, Dish Eye.
The dish is a disease. We're the cure. Call 1-888-GET-CHARTER.
At Millbury National Bank, our course is simple: to make life easier for you. There's nothing quicker or as convenient as Millbury National Bank's internet banking for personal and business accounts. It's simply a better way to bank. 3 new checking account programs tailored to your personal banking needs, and a whole new line of residential mortgage products at very competitive rates. Millbury National Bank has been serving customers in the Blackstone Valley for over 175 years. Millbury National Bank, not just a bank, a commitment to you.
ESPN2's exclusive coverage of the NIT is presented by Jordan. Will you be the one? And in part by SUV.com.
Right next to the Hesburgh Memorial Library, better known for Touchdown Jesus. We're inside the Joyce Center. NIT first round action presented by Jordan, Holy Cross, and Notre Dame. Dave Barnett, Tim McCormick in South Bend. And underway, and the Irish control the tap. Minus one of their stalwart stars in the backcourt, Chris Quinn, who is not able to go tonight. Bruised right collarbone in the first half of the first round Big East tournament loss to Rutgers. And the Irish counted right inside for Turin Francis. Quinn not in uniform. He's replaced by Russell Carter, who gets his first career start tonight. Francis, Thomas, Colin Falls, and Jordan Cornett for Notre Dame. And for Holy Cross, their usual five. John Hurley, Nate Lefkin, Torrey Thomas. Patriot League Player of the Year, Kevin Hamilton, and Greg Kinsey.
Now, quick start for Turin Francis, and at shoot-around today, Mike Bray said, I want you to be an enforcer. Knock somebody down, goaltended shot, do something aggressive so that Holy Cross knows you're there. That's a very good start for him.
Bray in his 5th year. After 5 years, head coach at Delaware. Prior to that, 8 years, an assistant at Duke, and Francis gets the first point for the Irish. 21 points for Francis, his season high in that disappointing loss to Rutgers, the last place regular season finish here in the Big East. Not a team the Irish expected to have much trouble with. And no trouble driving Greg Kinsey with the first bucket for the Crusaders.
Yeah, if Holy Cross has a significant advantage, it's that their wings and big guys can drive. I don't know if Notre Dame can cover them on the perimeter.
This Notre Dame defense, year in, year out, one of the best in the country. 4th in the country this year in opponent offense. Less than 56 points per game, traveling.
And here's Chris Quinn, their number 2 scorer, was knocked down hard by Rutgers' Marcus Webb on Wednesday. He injured his clavicle and told me that he's having a hard time brushing his teeth, let alone shooting a jump shot.
Hurley after the miss, and the hell ball as Lufkin takes it to the deck. It'll stay on this end. So they miss almost 13 points per game. And the Big East top 3-point percentage. Chris Quinn at just a hair under 46% beyond the arc. Holy Cross will resemble Princeton in a lot of ways. If you're more familiar perhaps with the Tiger system and haven't seen much of Holy Cross through the years. The blocking foul is called underneath on John Hurley now with 2 quick personals. Ralph Willard, 6th year in charge of his alma mater, proud class of /67, and the Patriot League Coach of the Year for the 2nd time in his career.
And he just loves coaching in this league. You may remember him when he was at Kentucky with Rick Pitino. Then he was the head coach at Pitt. He said that these kids have no egos, and he loves to be able to spend time. They really enjoy the scouting reports, and they're cerebral players.
Russell Carter, first career start, and had only made 9 free throws all season. 9 of 16 before he puts those 2 down. What is the mindset, Tim, of 10 players who are out there knowing in their heart of hearts that they could handle much, if not most, of the NCAA tournament field? They, are convinced of that as the 3-pointer falls for Kinsey.
What you do is you have to avoid the end of the regular season hangover and focus on the fact that 2/3 of college basketball teams are done playing right now.
Digging out the loose ball is Hamilton. And another hell ball. Notre Dame will get this one. Here's the way this section of the NIT bracket will shape up. Drexel Buffalo winner takes on Hofstra St. Joe's winner. Winner of that game will play the winner of this game. Texas A&M, a surprising entry in Billy Gillespie's first year, right to the postseason. And Torrey Thomas took his eyes off that and lost it in the corner. Uncontested turnover.
One thing that with Quinn gone and Carter in the lineup, The Irish aren't going to impress you with their athleticism, but this might be their most athletic lineup on the court right now.
Chris Thomas, many touches at all these first couple of minutes, into the corner and falls with his 90th three-pointer of the year. Second in the Big East in made threes. His missing teammate Quinn first in the Big East three-point percentage. So maybe more of that aspect of the Irish attack falls on Falls tonight. Notre Dame up 6-5.
You kind of wonder what percent of those threes came directly from a Chris Thomas assist.
Great many of them, probably. Shot clock down to 9. Three-pointer. Kevin Hamilton's 79th of the year. The Patriot League Player of the Year out of Queens Village, New York, 6'4" junior. Cornette inside for Francis, and another foul inside called on Holy Cross.
You know, Colin Falls told me that when Chris Thomas has the ball, he knows if he works hard to get open, he's going to get open looks. They're part of a group that Mike Gray calls the Midnight Crew. They get there in the gym. It's the practice facility that they call the pit. Not only Thomas and Falls, but also Chris Quinn. 25 to 30 times this year after games and late night practices, they go to the gym and the three of them just work on jump shot after jump shot.
And Notre Dame already feeling the teeth of this Holy Cross defense. Big wins for them this year on the resume. You'd start with January 30th against the defending national champs, Francis, with a game-high 19. February 8th, undefeated BC, 20-0 coming in, 68-63 losers coming out as Falls hit the Boston College defense for 23 points. However, there weren't enough of those. Lost at Michigan to Paul. The killer, of course, knocking him out in the first round of the Big East tournament against Rutgers, 72-65 on Wednesday. Another sweet win this year was December 8th at Indiana, the first win for the Irish at Bloomington in 31 years. This Holy Cross defense, Tim, fourth in the country, as we said, in points allowed per game. That is 4 years running now. They've been in the top 10 nationally in that stat. The roll won't go for Kevin Highland, 6'7" junior, off the bench. Call for steps.
Now, as you talk about the Crusaders defense, it's sort of a hybrid. It's man-to-man, but it reveals a zone. This is actually man-to-man principles, and they'll trap, and they're very aggressive.
Francis off balance on the reverse. Thomas delaying in the backcourt just long enough to foil the fast break. And the typical Holy Cross offensive possession will take it inside 10 on the shot clock. There'll be lots of motion, not 100% a copy of the Princeton system, but you'll see a lot of similarities in terms of movement without the ball, looking for the cutter. Not necessarily all the rules that the Princeton offense has. In and out on the three by Cornette.
As they bring it up, there's a nice mix of transition. They have some good motion. Ralph Willard said they have 25 set plays, and most of those target Hamilton and Simmons.
As well they should. Top player in the league, and Simmons, who never starts but still made first team all-conference this year.
Have you ever heard of that happen?
Never. For a guy who never started a game, I have not. The miss from outside the arc. Holy Cross lead still at 2. Traveling. Another unforced Irish turnover by Falls. Timeout. 15-12 in the first half. 8-6 early on for the Crusaders.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship begins Saturday at noon Eastern on ESPN.
Even with good credit, getting a home loan can be a long process. But at eLoan, you apply in just minutes, either online or over the phone. There's a lot less paperwork, and you get a loan decision fast. It's lending the way it was meant to be. Apply now at eLoan.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SUV Championships.
Anybody can ride an SUV. Not everybody rides it right.
Pushing it too hard.
Without respect for what they're capable of, it's easy to see why a lot of riders take the role. SUVs are big and powerful, and on top of one, you can feel almost invincible.
Easy now, big fella.
Keeping your SUV in off course.
Look at that control.
That's the idea, right?
Get the Edge cutting system now and give yourself a John Deere yarn for a long, long time. Get a free cart with select John Deere tractors.
Nobody captures the best in baseball like 2K Sports, the #1 rated sports series of 2005. Get Major League Baseball 2K5.
You know, you could have sent a car.
Rated E for everyone. 8-6 Holy Cross, 15-12 in the first half in South Bend. More great NIT action presented by Jordan tonight at 9 over on ESPN. Again, big-name schools all over the brackets this year. DePaul, Missouri, and then tomorrow, 8 Eastern on ESPN2, Vanderbilt and Indiana. Indiana, despite 10 Big Ten victories, left out of the NCAA field. The first time that has happened in the 20 years of the current NCAA 64 or 65-team format. So we talked about teams that are surprised to be in this year's NIT. Certainly the Indiana team we'll see take on Vandy tomorrow night would fit in that category. 6-year head coach Ralph Willard, Patriot League Coach of the Year after 5 years at Pittsburgh, 4 at Western Kentucky, back at his alma mater. And Torrey Thomas, rebound chased down after Thomas missed the drive. Keith Simmons showing you how you make first-team all-conference coming off the bench every game with that kind of hustle.
I really like the start for Holy Cross. They're active at both ends of the court, clearly well coached.
And Simmons drains the turnaround. Their second leading scorer behind Hamilton, better than 12 points per game. Holy Cross with 3 times as many shot attempts as Notre Dame, which has turned it over 3 times. They have drawn some fouls. That's held down the shot total. And from behind, Hamilton tries to rip it away from Rob Kurz. Call for his first.
Ralph Willard is real tight with his buddy Rick Pitino. They talk nearly every single day. And they're from the same high school, St. Dominic in Long Island. When Rick Pitino was an assistant at Hawaii, he would recruit in New York, and then he'd go over and watch Ralph Willard's practices. Then after the gym was cleared, the two of them, being younger men, would play one-on-one. Willard said he was the better shooter, but Pitino was great off the dribble to the rim. I remember back in the old 5-star days, Rick Pitino was one of the best one-on-one players that I've ever seen.
Really? You remember that far back?
Oh, it was amazing. I once saw him just destroy Michael Jordan in a game of one-on-one. Now, Jordan was in high school back then.
Still impressive. Irish again missing on some of the most makeable shots they're likely to get against this Crusader defense. There's the ball movement and the back cut by Nate Lufkin. Senior out of Austin, Texas, with his first points. 12-6 Holy Cross. They have come out and really put the defensive clamps on Notre Dame, their trademark. Inside, Rick Cornett turned away, but the follow is there, and a shot at a 3-point play for Curry.
I like teams that get their big guys involved off dribble penetration. Notre Dame is in the Big East, but they are a finesse team, and you can attack them at rim level. And then at the other end, how is Notre Dame going to score? Chris Thomas doesn't even have a shot. Go to the offensive glass.
Lufkin fouling Kurz. Rob Kurz, the lone freshman on this Notre Dame roster. And just the 4th free throw of his season. That's the lead to 3. 7 minutes gone in the first half. Opening round NIT action. Right off the bench for a 3, Pat Doherty. And another offensive rebound. Holy Cross getting all the loose balls.
Yep. Number 2 in the Patriot League. They're a solid defensive rebounding team, but the best thing they do is on the offensive glass.
Simmons inside. Lufkin point blank. And it was out of bounds before he captured it. He and Tim Clifford, 6'11" and 6'10" inside. Neither one able to grab it and gather themselves for a slam. And Thomas has been erased from the Notre Dame system so far. That's just his 2nd shot and his 1st points. Took almost 8 minutes to get their leading scorer on the board. And Ralph Willard calls time immediately after.
The scout report against Chris Thomas is pretty simple. You have to pick him up at the ND and then never leave him. His numbers are amazing. Only 3 players in NCAA history have 2,000 points and 800 assists. You're talking about Sherman Douglas and Gary Payton. And in terms of motivation, he has a lot of it, and it was helped today in the pregame talk. Actually, Mike Bray didn't say anything. They created a highlight video that was 5 minutes long, featuring the 3 big home wins this year against Villanova, BC, and UConn, featuring the music of one of your favorites, 50 Cent.
One of my favorites?
Yep.
You might need to get a update on my musical taste.
You have to pick it up. You know they call him Fitty.
Yeah, I hear that. It's another one of your partners, I'm sure.
I get them all mixed up.
Must be thinking of.
They're all named Dave.
Under the 12-minute mark, 12-11, Holy Cross. Keith Simmons. And 5 on the shot clock. As the Patriot League Player of the Year, Kevin Hamilton says, I'll take over from here. Hamilton with 5. Falls with his 2nd 3.
Enjoying the work of Hamilton and Simmons for the Crusaders. They're loaded on the wings, and those 2 are definitely Big East caliber players. They score about 1/3 of Holy Cross's points this year.
Lufkin showed jumper and bailed out on the tip by Tim Clifford, freshman from Walpole, Mass. Straight on 3-pointer, misses everything this time. Falls has hit a couple, but that one not even close. And with 11:01 in the first half, 16-14 Crusaders. As Tim said, Chris Thomas ending his Notre Dame career in some very good company, which we'll discuss when we come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SUV Championships.
Anybody can ride an SUV. Not everybody rides it right.
Pushing it too hard.
Without respect for what they're capable of, it's easy to see why a lot of riders take the role. SUVs are big and powerful, and on top of one, you can feel almost invincible.
Easy now, big fella.
Keeping your SUV in off course.
Look at that control.
That's the idea, right?
New Dentine Ice Vanilla Chill. A kick of icy flavor that's surprisingly smooth. New Dentine Ice Vanilla Chill.
If your last encounter with fruit was on a Hawaiian shirt, you'll want to try this. Introducing the Fresh Fruit Bowl and Cup. Honeydew, cantaloupe, pineapple, and grapes with a low-fat yogurt dip. Only at Wendy's. It's better here.
At Samuel Adams, hops are to beer what grapes are to wine. They really are the soul of the beer.
That's why I found Jim Cook goes to Bavaria each year to hand select the best hops in the world. Most other brewers just call in their orders.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
Some customers only drop them and sniff a little bit.
He doesn't sniff, he dives in the hops.
The better the hops are, the more complexity, fullness, and richness you're going to get into each bottle of Samuel Adams.
Betrayed by the gods, he seeks revenge. And a new myth will be written in the blood of the old. God of War, rated M for mature.
Only 2 points so far from Chris Thomas, who among his many milestones in his 4 years here at Notre Dame, school record 128 starts, and this is the real eye-opener. Only Sherman Douglas, great Syracuse guard of the 80s, and Gary Payton in his Oregon State career have scored 2,000 points and handed out 800 assists during their careers. Only these three.
Yeah, and I don't think Notre Dame fans will ever really appreciate him till he's gone.
Well, he thought about leaving after his sophomore year, so Notre Dame fans in a way can consider that they've gotten maybe 2 bonus seasons out of Chris Thomas. No question he made the right decision, though, to hang at least for the junior year, and it was such an excruciatingly painful season. Doherty extending the Holy Cross lead to 4. Thomas had torn left knee cartilage last year. Much more pain-free senior year, and there his first three-pointer, 50th three-pointer of the season.
Zone defense by the Irish, and believe me, it's a very bad idea to let Chris Thomas get going. And those are the turnovers there that do drive fans crazy. Remember, Thomas last year had a very severe knee injury that he had surgery this summer for.
In and out on the three-pointer, and the smallest man out there, Doherty, at 5'11", comes up with the offensive board. Holy Cross owns the glass, 10-6. Good number of those on the offensive end. Three-pointer by Keith Simmons, his first, and the Holy Cross offense may be more impressive than their defense, which is not normally the case. Position inside. Irish another turnover. Francis, maybe one extra pass. Here's Doherty, Patriot League Rookie of the Year, freshman from Scranton, Pennsylvania, who is now running things as Torrey Thomas takes his first breather. And the reach-in foul on Falls is first.
You know, Torrent Francis has outstanding upside, but if he does have a flaw, questionable hands, and that's a play right there that you have to be able to catch, drop step, and power. He also had a big surgery, back surgery.
He, in fact, missed the last 12 games last year, herniated disc, and he was having a tremendous sophomore season before that happened.
The rehab was excruciating. He said that for most of the summer he was doing 600 sit-ups and then 600 repetitions on the back machine. And I've seen enough NBA guys with bad backs. That's an injury that takes well over a year before you're 100%.
Cornette carves out space inside and got the shot up before the double team could come. Jordan Cornette, a late addition to the starting lineup, his first points. Holy Cross 24 wins, only 6 losses, and 5 of those 6 were against teams that are in the NCAA tournament, including at Minnesota, at Boston College in overtime. 5 points to Vermont and twice to Buttonell, the team that upset them at home in the final of the Patriot League postseason tournament.
Some nice defense by Cornette. He's moving up that shot block list for the Irish, isn't he?
He and LaFonso Ellis tied 200 career blocks, and that in the corner by Hamilton ends up off the side of the glass. Holy Cross has 10 more shots up than Notre Dame. They're 9 of 22 now, twice as many shots as the Irish. Notre Dame 6 of 11 from the field. Almost a 4-point opportunity for Colin Falls. Fouled on the three-pointer in the corner.
Here's a staggering statistic. Falls has been fouled while shooting a three-pointer. That's the 15th time this year.
Every player has it drilled into him. Don't foul a jump shooter, and especially don't foul a three-point jump shooter. What is it about his moves that make it so hard to avoid that?
Well, I think that from what I've seen, he's one of the best players in the Big East at constantly moving without the ball. We talked earlier about how he spies Thomas, and he has a real good relationship. When Chris comes off the dribble, he tries to stay 12 to 15 feet away. And by making that late move, it sort of catches the defense off guard, and I think their recovery is the reason they foul him so much.
He is an outstanding free throw shooter. He's 89% for the year. And he gets all three, and Notre Dame takes the lead at 22-21, just under 8 minutes first half. That time Hamilton arguing that was touched by the Irish, and I think they're going to get their way after this timeout. 7:46 to go. Postseason update when we come back.
I just got a couple questions for you. Anyone know the student per teacher ratio in your classroom? What about discretionary spending per student? Nothing? Come on. You? Huh? You with the funky hair. No? What's the matriculation percentage?
She's crazy. There's a better way to get information to help you choose the right home. Century21.com provides in-depth community information backed by a 21-point pledge. For the information you need, go to century21.com.
No, wait. Come back. Oh, please come back. Senorita! Just a moment.
What happens in Vegas won't stay there anymore. ABC Family unveils an original reality series, The Business of Love, Vegas style.
There may be some bloodshed.
Las Vegas Garden of Love premieres Monday at 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
It takes power to explore new worlds and confidence in your equipment to get you there. Introducing the new 311 horsepower, 7-passenger Volvo XC90 V8. The only SUV with the added power of legendary Volvo safety.
Waking up to a new kind of performance sedan. This is the first ever Pontiac G6. Split. And things are a lot different in here. See your participating New England Pontiac dealer.
Dave Refson in our Sports Center in-game studios. Want to check in on the opening round game. Alabama, A&M, and Oakland battling for the right to face North Carolina. Brandon Cassie hits the three. It's the Grizzlies by 1 at that point. They are now up 3. Dave?
Talking about a team that is living on borrowed time. Oakland 12-18 before they won their postseason tournaments. This is NIT first round action presented by Jordan. Joyce Center on the campus of Notre Dame, where the Irish, despite getting up half as many shots as Holy Cross, up 22-21. And it was ruled touch last by Notre Dame before the timeout. Straight on this three, Hamilton. They own the offensive glass.
That's 9 offensive rebounds. And Dave, did you know if Oakland University goes on and wins the NCAA, they will even their record up at 500?
You may be the only one who even bothered to figure that out. Even the most optimistic Oakland fan, I don't think, put that math together.
You know, Chris Thomas is having an independent study course right now, and he's working with homeless teenagers, and it's a beautiful story. He's talked to them about academic goals and told the kids, if you get on the honor roll, I'm going to give you some old ND gear, I'm going to give you some shoes and some shorts. And he's taken them on field trips like bowling, into the Notre Dame library, skating, and he even gave them tickets to a Notre Dame basketball game.
Cornette called for the foul on the hook by Kevin Highland. So just about every way a school can miss a player, that's how Notre Dame is going to miss Chris Thomas.
Both on and off the court. And Mike Bray has a very special place in his heart for Thomas. He's the first Mr. Basketball from the state of Indiana to attend Notre Dame. And Chris Thomas has changed the landscape of Irish basketball.
Two years ago in the Sweet 16. Now 2 years running in the NIT. And even after missed free throws, Holy Cross is getting every rebound they want.
Holy Cross has 3 more offensive rebounds than Notre Dame has total rebounds.
This layup, Torrey Thomas. Finally, the Irish get it out of there. Seemed like that possession lasted about 5 minutes. But Holy Cross falling back in this smothering half-court defense. Second foul, Nate Lufkin. Following us tonight, NBA Nation here on ESPN2. Matt Wider with his bevy of analysts, including Tim Legler, Greg Anthony, Rick Bucher, and Mark Stein, the most innovative NBA program on the dial, including live look-ins to games in progress. Don't miss it right after we're all finished tonight from South Bend here on ESPN2. Finally, Notre Dame anticipating that inside pass by Holy Cross, and in this case it's Chris Thomas. Got there in time, couldn't avoid the foul, his first.
Ralph Willard, very deep scouting reports, and this is a tough game for him because they didn't find out about the Notre Dame matchup until 10:25 on Sunday. They didn't get any film to watch until this morning.
Players found out by midnight last night. 11 hours later, they were traveling. And or Sunday night, and 11 hours later, they were traveling and scrambling to get any video they could from any common opponents. Nate Lufkin with a sweet left-hand hook. Senior out of Austin, Texas, has Holy Cross back in front. Russell Carter. One and done possession for the Irish. 3-on-2 break. And another missed layup by Thomas. That's at least 3. Torrey Thomas is having no problem penetrating, but he cannot finish. Falls left alone. That's usually an automatic 3.
The storyline of this game is on the glass. In Big East circles, Notre Dame is called finesse. Many people think soft, and that's been the biggest difference. The Crusaders are dominating the glass.
Thomas stays outside and finally gets his first points. Chris Thomas short on the 3. Torrey Thomas the board. Notre Dame has held Kevin Hamilton, top scorer for the Crusaders, top player in the Patriot League this year, to only 5 points so far. But the Crusaders have terrific balance. Hamilton almost the roll on the turnaround. Rick Cornette starts a 3-on-1 break. Chris Thomas with the feed. And Russell Carter with the finish. Ralph Willard does not wait long. When he sees anything he doesn't like from his defense, he will slap the timeout on him. And in this case, a 3-on-1. That's so far the only guaranteed way Notre Dame has found to crack this Holy Cross defense. 4th in the country in points allowed. Also top 10 opponent field goal percentage, less than 39%. 6th in the country in steals. And it's not because they have one of the greatest collection of athletes in the country. They just have a system that they stick to no matter what.
Yeah, Holy Cross is a dominant defensive team, and their strategy is to be active. Their barometer is about 40 times per game. They want to get a deflection on the defensive end. And typically when you see teams that are able to accomplish that, they have those long, rangy athletes. That's not the case here.
They still have twice as many shots up as Notre Dame. Holy Cross 11 of 30, not a great percentage, but Notre Dame only 7 of 15 as Highland comes up short on the hook. On the transition 3, that is 3 for Colin Falls from out there.
And for anybody that doesn't watch Notre Dame play, you may say, well, that wasn't a great shot. No, that's exactly what they want, because Falls has deep range, and you don't want to play against that Holy Cross defense in a half-court set.
It's really the best incentive you could ask for to get your transition game going, because the longer you stay in the half-court, the more passes you make, the greater the chance that Holy Cross is going to get one of those deflections and turn it into one of those steals that they specialize in.
Yeah, when you look at the numbers, the ball pressure is really interesting. They all share the job. 6 players average a steal or more.
Thomas has it deflected. Out of bounds. And a timeout. 3:58 in the first half. Notre Dame riding the hot three-point shooting of Colin Falls. He has 12 of their 27. And it's the Irish by 2.
Investing is about knowing the waters and where the real risks are. At T. Rowe Price, we navigate the market with discipline, relying on experience and our own independent research. 75% of our funds beat their 1, 5, and 10-year Lipper averages. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Is your name Dante? Where did you hear that? From your brother.
The prequel to the legendary Devil May Cry explodes with unrelenting action. Choose multiple fighting styles and become one hardcore demon slayer. Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. Rated M for mature. Sweet dreams.
Nissan introduced 10 bold, powerful cars and trucks. What's next? Nissan's Drive to $1 Million sales event. We're out to break a record, so you get a great offer, like a $199 per month lease on the stylish and powerful Nissan Altima. See your Nissan dealer by March 31st. We're in a Drive to $1 Million, so you get great offers on new Nissans.
Get the Edge cutting system now and give yourself a John Deere yarn for a long, long time. Get a free cart with select John Deere tractors.
Dave Revson in the studios coming up on our halftime report. The NCAA tournament is underway. We'll get you updated on the opening round game between Oakland and Alabama A&M. Digger Phelps will join me. He has an NCAA tournament sleeper that he thinks will make it all the way to the Final Four. And John Chaney will be back on the bench tonight for Temple. There's Chaney getting off the basket, getting ready for the game at Virginia Tech. We'll have an update on his Temple team. That's all at the half, guys.
All right, Dave, and under 4 minutes to go in this first half. Notre Dame by 2, 27-25. as the Holy Cross double team knocks it out of the hands of Turin Francis. Irish with 11 seconds on the shot clock. Keith Simmons back in off the bench. Falls. And the three-pointer in the corner by Jordan Cornett. Rebounded by Francis. Follow jam wouldn't go. Francis stays after it. And finally, Torrey Thomas is there to chase it down. Out of the double team. Hamilton with the bounce pass inside for Tim Clifford.
Yeah, Ralph Willard wants to get his big guys a touch 60 to 70% of the time. Feels like when they're active, the perimeter guys get a much better caliber shot.
Francis, first field goal. The 6'11" junior from Boston. The former National High School Player of the Year on the 2002 McDonald's All-America roster.
Actually, the Morgan Wooten Award deals with a lot of other things, character and academics, as well as expertise on the court.
Another slick pass, no-looker. Hamilton to Simmons. Hamilton got Thomas up off his feet. Pass ahead of the defense. The way it's supposed to be that time, everything but the made shot. And it's still Notre Dame by 2. Kurz can't get the reverse, but he was fouled. Clifford with his first and the team's 8.
You know, the reason that this pass gets through, the defense is so worried about Colin Falls that Kurz is able to move along the baseline. Beautiful delivery, left-hand hook pass. And that's one he'd like back, I believe.
Rob Kurz, 6'9" freshman. His coach says he's one of the smartest, most mature freshmen he has ever had. And the places his coach has worked, places like here for 5 years, Duke for 8 years, that is saying something. Rob Kurz will be a player to watch the next 3 years here in South Bend. Baseline jumper not there for Hamilton. Notre Dame finally starting to limit Holy Cross to 1 shot per possession. There have been some 3- and 4-shot possessions for the Crusaders. The last check had a 9-1 advantage in offensive rebounds. Offensive board for Kurz here, and again he draws the contact.
We're certainly impressed, Dave, with the play on the court, but both coaches today took time to recognize how difficult the academics are for these students. Mike Bray not able to hold a traditional shoot-around based on the fact that a lot of his kids have classes, and Ralph Willard likened the Patriot League to the Ivy League. Said his kids are going to be Wall Street doctors, lawyers, and on the bus, you know, more than talking about the matchup, a lot of times they're discussing when their papers are due and what tests they're studying for. Academic challenges for both teams.
True student athletes.
Refreshing.
Kurz 1 out of 2. Notre Dame by 3.
A lot of zone here. By about 35 to 40% so far, a little more than what you normally see.
Lefty hook won't go for Lefkin.
No spacing.
Thomas drops it off underneath, and for the 3rd straight possession, Rob Kurz draws the foul.
Now, here's what the big guy needs to do. Understand why you're getting these layups. Tonight or tomorrow, Kurz needs to take Chris Thomas out to dinner.
Just to give you an indication of how unlikely these last 3 possessions have been, pounding it inside to Rob Kurz, a man who had scored a total of 8 points all season in 13 games. Bloody lip on the Holy Cross bench being patched up.
Yeah. Earlier we talked about Chris Thomas and how he had knee surgery in April. Said that he spent the majority of his summer, because he couldn't run and train, watching game film. So what he was able to do is he studied how his big guys moved, how he could get them the ball. And the result has been his assist numbers have soared and his turnovers much lower. Obviously, Kurz wasn't there last year, but the concept of involving the big guys has really been impressive.
This is the biggest lead for Notre Dame. They have finally maybe figured out Holy Cross a little bit. Even though they still have 13 fewer shots, they're making up for that by getting to the line. More than making up for it. Clifford works hard for the chance at a three-point play. They feel he has big potential. Just a freshman, 6'10", 265.
Well, absolutely. Look at the frame and the ability to work the offensive glass. There's no doubt that Clifford has good upside. And next year with Lufkin and Hurley graduating, he's going to be featured.
Has a twin sister, Carrie, also a college athlete. She's a freshman swimmer at UMass Dartmouth. Tim with 7 points off the bench, more than double his average of 2.7 per game. So a lot of unlikely sources of offense on both sides here in this first half from the Joyce Center. Bad luck by Kurz that time.
Yeah, and Turin Francis has had his hands on a number of balls that he has not been able to secure.
Difference of 10 seconds on the two clocks as Doherty with a look outside. Shot clock under 20, 29 seconds and counting in the first half. Hamilton gets his own no-look pass back and turns to miss over Falls. Kurz contributing on both ends off the bench. Little used freshman. Most of this first half, Holy Cross was the more impressive team. Doherty with the steal. Hamilton with time to lay it in at the halftime buzzer. Despite 12 points from Colin Falls, that last sequence for Holy Cross, very descriptive of what the Crusaders have been able to do for most of this first half.
And what a costly turnover. This is the equivalent of the quarterback throwing the interception where the guy takes it the distance for the touchdown. Devastating.
The Holy Cross defense, one of the best in the country, creating just enough offense to hang with Notre Dame here at the Joyce Center in South Bend, Indiana. First round action of the NIT presented by Jordan. 32 all. Back to the studio, Dave Repson and Digger Phelps.
Thank you, Dave. Digger will join me momentarily. Good competitive first half there in South Bend, and good competitive first half as well in Dayton. Two teams less than 10 years removed from Division II playing for the right to face Carolina. Opening round highlights just ahead.
ESPN2's exclusive coverage of the NIT, presented by Jordan, is brought to you by Dentine Ice. Now flavor charged with icy intensity. Go bold with Dentine. And Wendy's fresh new fruit bowl and cup.
I'm not the real dance in the aisle, although I have danced in the aisles.
My dad is nuts. He wears this angel stuff everywhere he goes.
Show me the monkey, show me the monkey.
It was almost like a law in our house to be an Angel fan.
If there's anything that we've always been connected about, it was baseball. There's nothing like it.
The Angels are a part of our blood. He's passed that on to us.
Can't wait for opening day and sharing that Angel baseball with the boys.
I live for this!
The wait is almost over. Major League Baseball's opening day is coming.
So these are the roads.
I'll have the special.
Don't have the special.
Oh, what can I get you?
I'll have the special.
Rules of the road. You're one of the dopes for whom they were made. The rules of the road.
No.
Then suddenly this, the end
Nice place.
of the road.
I think I'll do a cannonball. Don't do a cannonball.
Fairfield Day. For travelers who know.
Panasonic Toughbook PC is powered with Intel Centrino mobile technology. Panasonic, ideas for life.
Nobody captures the best in baseball like 2K Sports, the #1 rated sports series of 2005. Get Major League Baseball 2K5.
You know, you could have sent a car.
Rated E for everyone.
New Dentine Ice Vanilla Chill. A kick of icy flavor that's surprisingly smooth. New Dentine Ice Vanilla Chill.
Here's your Wendy's Fresh Fruit Bowl.
Fresh fruit bowl and cup at Wendy's? You can bet on it. Honeydew, cantaloupe, pineapple, and grapes with a low-fat yogurt dip. Only at Wendy's. It's better here.
Back in our halftime report, they're tied at the half in South Bend, Holy Cross and Notre Dame. In the meantime, it's the opening round game in the NCAA tournament. Alabama A&M and Oakland of Michigan. First half, it's Obi Trotter to Joe Martin, who throws down the jam. Oakland on top 7-5. They're on top 24-23 now.
Trotter for three in the lead. Got it.
Obi Trotter hits the three, and Alabama A&M's on top 26-24. But Earl Marshall answering for Oakland. The hoop and the foul, the big jam. Oakland on top 31-26. It's now 38-35 at the half. A couple coaches, Greg Campy and Van Pettaway, 40 years between them at these respective schools. It is Oakland up by 3. Again, the winner gets North Carolina. That game over on ESPN right now. A big game later tonight on ESPNU coming up. The background of this, St. Joe's John Bryant did practice yesterday for the first time since breaking his arm last month in that controversial game against Temple. ESPN.com's Andy Katz tells us that Bryant did have some soreness after the practice. He may be ready to go if St. Joe's were to advance to the 3rd round of the NIT. But tonight, it's first round action. It's John Chaney's return to the bench for Temple. First time he's coached since his suspension. Again, 8 o'clock on ESPNU as they take on Virginia Tech. Dave Strader, Reed Geddes providing a preview.
The last time John Chaney coached for the Temple Owls was February 22nd against St. Joseph. That was the now infamous goon incident that led to the injury to St. Joe's player John Bryant, that led to the suspension, some self-imposed, some imposed by the administration. Some people wondered, Reed, whether that would be the last game for John Chaney. Indeed, he will coach in the first round of the NIT. The question now becomes, should Temple lose tonight, is this his last game?
Yeah, that's the question everybody wants to know, and John Chaney thinks he's going to be back. We talked to him earlier today, and he said, I plan on being back next season. It's all determined on my health. He said at the end of each season, I reevaluate where I am and whether I want to come back. However, we would be naive to think that the decision is up to John Chaney. Clearly, the school administration at Temple University is going to make the decision whether John Chaney is going to be back or not.
Let's take a look at the quote from John Chaney himself back on February the 28th, 6 days after the incident. He said this: the university suspended me from coaching for the remainder of the regular season. I was, however, at liberty to coach our team in the Atlantic 10 tournament in Cincinnati. John Bryant is unable to play in the tournament because of the injury he sustained last week against Temple. Neither should I be able to coach. Well, at best, we're hearing that John Bryant is questionable for the NIT. Therefore, should John Chaney be coaching tonight under his own rationale?
Well, you know, again, it's his own words that are causing the problems. It was rational, it was logical, the decision-making process made sense. However, now in the NIT, if John Bryant's not playing, suddenly the decision not to coach in the A10 seems a little bit disingenuous. So then you say, well, then why is John Chaney coaching tonight? Well, then you open Pandora's box, and there's lots of questions. And the question on everybody's mind is, are we seeing potentially the end to a legendary coaching career?
Well, the focus is not going to go off John Chaney should Temple win this game tonight. Not only would it be win number 500 of his career at Temple, it would send up a potential second-round matchup against John Calipari and Memphis.
Gentlemen, thanks a lot. There is John Chaney getting ready for that return to the bench. Again, first round action on ESPNU coming up in just a matter of seconds. So you can flip on over to ESPNU and catch Temple and Virginia Tech. Coming up here, why the Gators season will end in St. Louis. Digger Phelps has found his sleeper. That's next.
Look at this place. What do these guys have that we don't have?
Well, they do have the rotary-powered Mazda RX-8, the Tribute, Mazda 3, 2005 Automobile Magazine All-Star, and the thing no one else has, Zoom, Zoom.
Okay, we got it.
It's the Mazdas on the Move sales event. For a limited time, lease the Mazda 3i 4-door for just $179 a month for 36 months with $19.99 due at lease signing.
Call you back.
Hurry, offers end March 31st.
I want to see my fight. Come on.
Kid, how many fingers I got up?
4.
What city are we in?
I don't know.
You remember what you did last night?
No.
Remember what I did last night?
No.
He's fine. It's all good. Let him in.
It's very creative. But sir, I just think it's a bad idea to name a product the Titanic.
Visit the largest job website, careerbuilder.com. A better job awaits.
These gardens have the most exquisite Venus flytrap. Oh, he likes you.
Go where you want with your free weekend from Avis. Yes. Now rent for a week and get a free weekend to use later. Find our lowest prices at avis.com.
Digger Phelps joins me now. Take a look at the first round of the NCAA tournament. This is the Syracuse, New York regional. See, North Carolina is the #1 seed. UConn, Kansas, the 2 and 3 in this regional. Then Florida is the #4, and you're keeping an eye on the Gators, I know, Digger.
Well, everybody talks about the #1 seed being North Carolina, but I still think Carolina has issues. You take a look at how when they played at UConn, even though they won, UConn got 16 blocks. That means you're not tough inside. Even in the Clemson game, Clemson got 35 points off of 19 Carolina turnovers, and in the Georgia Tech loss, Georgia Tech got 21 offensive rebounds for 25 points. So when you look at the bracket, who's hot and who's not? I love Florida. They beat Kentucky 2 straight weekends, and the talent is back. These kids know what they have to do to get it done. David Lee has been so strong inside, getting defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds, making points in the paint. From the other side of it, you got to love what goes on with Matt Walsh. Really has confidence shooting the threes. That's another factor. And Anthony Roberson, to me, has really matured as a go-to guy that can run the team as well as shoot the threes. This is a very, very dangerous Florida team. They have a lot of respect for what they did, the way they beat Kentucky for the SEC championship by 17. And Billy Donovan's defense has really showed up.
No, they haven't lost since February 19th. Now, you talked about some problems that you see for North Carolina. How about the 2 and 3? UConn and Kansas. Is this, in picking Florida, is that an indictment of these guys, or is that just saying you really think Florida's that good?
I think Florida's that good, but when you look at Kansas, still Kansas hasn't showed me how. When the regular season, they lost 4 of their last 6 games, and again, they lose. They didn't win the Big 12 Conference Championship, so they let a #1 seed get away. UConn is hot. Marcus Williams and company really have a lot of things going with his confidence in the backcourt, and obviously Charlie Villanueva in that front line. Their front line is solid.
How about the Antonio Kellogg suspension? It's something that's kind of flown under the radar. He's not a marquee player like some of the guys you mentioned, but how much does that affect UConn?
Well, when you only have one quarterback in a football game and he gets hurt, who's your backup? It's the same thing in college basketball. If you only got one true point guard, who's your backup? And when you look at Marcus Williams making things happen the way he is, if he gets in foul trouble or if he gets hurt, then what does Jim Calhoun do? Because when you look at not having a point guard to come off that bench, it really can catch up to you, especially March Madness, because all these games always comes down to your guard play.
So question marks, you think, for North Carolina, question marks for Kansas, question marks for Connecticut. Florida hasn't made it past the second round since they made it to the finals in 2000.
That's history. This is the year.
This is the year.
05.
All right, second half coming up from South Bend momentarily. Holy Cross and Notre Dame.
Look at this place. What do these guys have that we don't have?
Well, they do have the rotary-powered Mazda RX-8, the Tribute, Mazda 3, 2005 Automobile Magazine All-Star, and the thing no one else has, Zoom, Zoom.
Okay, we got it.
It's the Mazdas on the Move sales event. For a limited time, lease the Mazda 3i 4-door for just $179 a month for 36 months with $19.99 due at lease signing.
Call you back.
Hurry, offers end March 31st.
Excuse me, you're still with your old brokerage firm?
I know, but I like being able to talk to somebody when I have a question.
Look, I don't want to be out there in cyberspace all by myself.
We moved our money to a TD Waterhouse online account. Their people really make us feel connected.
TD Waterhouse has investment consultants you can talk to when you have a question, so you're not out there all on your own. You can do this. Switch to TD Waterhouse, the alternative to higher-priced brokers like Merrill Lynch and Smith Barney.
Betrayed by the gods, he seeks revenge. And a new myth will be written in the blood of the old. God of war, let it end for mature.
Every day's the perfect day at Beaches All-Inclusive Resort. As a proud sponsor of Sesame Street, Beaches welcomes Elmo and friends. So vacation and explore the wonders of paradise together.
Book now for great savings. Call your travel agent or 1-800-BEACHES.
First Weber has 20 realty offices, many in small rural communities. Staying connected with our customers and each other is critical. That's why we use high-speed internet from Charter Business. We use it to compile listings, arrange virtual tours, and upload information to our website. Charter Business brings our business together under one roof, so we can do the same for our customers.
ESPN2's exclusive coverage of the NIT, presented by Jordan, is brought to you by Mazda, always the soul of a sports car.
Welcome back to Notre Dame, the Joyce Center, the NIT, presented by Jordan. And our first round matchup is 32 all as we begin the second half. Holy Cross more than holding its own, Tim, because they have a 12-5 edge on the offensive glass.
A macho effort on the offensive glass, and Colin Falls was the best player on the court. He had 12 points, made all 3 of his free throws. And one thing I liked about Notre Dame, though, is the balance of their offense. They scored 10 points on 2-point shots, 12 points from 3, and had 10 free throws.
The Crusaders shooting just 36%, but they have 16 more shots up than do the Irish. One reason is Holy Cross only to the line 3 times, and Notre Dame is 10 of 15. That's how the Irish overcame this traditionally sticky Holy Cross half-court defense. Driving layup by Torrey Thomas. That was a shot he missed at least 3 different times in the first half. He finally stuck about a 10-footer late in the half, and he gets Holy Cross the early second half lead. Chris Thomas mostly quiet in the first 20 minutes. He played all 20. And another one-shot possession ends quickly for Notre Dame.
My favorite part of the game is the first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half. That's when we can see the defensive adjustments. And for Notre Dame, they had a very difficult time dealing with the pick. We're going to see a lot more zone in the second.
Who draws the foul. Team shoot
the volume advantage for Notre Dame edge. First try.
What he has to do when he's painting. I don't really know a lot about abstract. Your favorite artist, and his favorite is de Kooning. Do you know anything about him?
I've heard.
Wow.
Weakness.
It's speed.
Just everything.
I don't know about de Kooning.
Steal. Greg Kinsey. Thomas.
What?
With the goaltend. Ralph Willard wants to know why it wasn't.
I've got to see that again.
Might have impressed the officials so much they had to give it to him. Even if it was interference, three-pointer and fouled Kevin Hamilton by Chris Thomas, who a moment ago made this block. Was it legal? No. On the way down for sure.
It was certainly enjoyable. It might be the toughest play that a referee has to make the decision on it. And Chris Thomas has been a hit or miss player in this game. He gets away with the goaltend, then he fouls the jump shooter. He has 5 assists, which you really like, but he has 4 turnovers, some of them on poor decision making.
Well, his own coach, Mike Brace, said that leading into Thomas's senior year that he'd like to see Thomas get some of the Allen Iverson out of his game. Really, mostly addressing shot selection with that comment. Hamilton only 1 of 3 free throws. Did he get enough out to get to where he thought he was 2 years ago when he considered coming out for the NBA draft after his sophomore year?
Yeah, that really hurt him, because once the NBA scouts look at you at the combine, they develop an image and an impression. It's hard to get out of there if it's unfavorable.
In transition, another block. Hers this time got it cleanly, but it was after the whistle.
And right now you're getting a really good illustration of one of Notre Dame's greatest weaknesses. Their transition defense was weak throughout the Big East season. Chris Thomas gambles and goes for steals a lot, and Mike Bray would love it if he would just sprint back on defense by... I guess that's a good example. Allen Iverson's the same way. He's a scoring point guard. He gambles and goes for steals, and Bray would love to get rid of that habit.
Francis and Jordan Cornette to the bench. Holy Cross, the few times they are getting to the line, they're shooting terribly. They're 3 for 9, now 4 for 10. Not a great free throw shooting team anyway, just 66%. But really hurting their cause here. They could be ahead by a lot more than they are. They have scored the only 5 points we've seen here in the second half in a little over 2.5 minutes. Thomas with still only 5 points. And the pass down low to Rick Cornette, who tries to split the double team and travels. 10th turnover by the Irish.
Very physical defense combined with the Notre Dame post game, which has been a mystery this year. Look at all the attention. There's 4 guys all within arm's length away. That's one where you catch and you get it back out.
Holy Cross, the regular season champions of the Patriot League, 13-1. They lost on their home court in the tournament final to Bucknell after they had won 16 straight coming into that final. Offensive rebound again. Hamilton, Lufkin, Thomas, back to Hamilton, Conference Player of the Year. Skip pass to set up the 3-point miss by Greg Kinsey. And another offensive board. Hamilton from the deck feeding Hurley, and count the follow by Nate Lufkin. That possession by the Crusaders sums up the entire night.
Everybody had a
clearly a team that's more excited to be here than the team they're playing.
Every loose ball is going to the Crusaders. exploiting Notre Dame in the Big East. Notre Dame was an okay rebounding team. Okay doesn't work in that conference where they were number 9 in rebounding margin.
3-point play, Nate Lufkin. 8-point lead, biggest for either team. They had 16 offensive rebounds. That is absolutely astounding for this early in the second half. Russell Carter, who got the first start of his career tonight, the absence of Chris Quinn, offensive foul, his first.
And on that play, Lamont Simpson had the offensive foul. Chris Beaver thought it was a defensive foul. Tough call. And with Chris Quinn on the bench, he has an injured clavicle from that Rutgers game. They really miss his outside stroke.
Every minute that goes by, the confidence on the face of the Crusaders grows more noticeable. Convinced by now they can play with this team out of the Big East. Notre Dame said they were approaching this game as if they were playing a Big East opponent. And if they weren't convinced, if those were just empty words before tip-off tonight, they should be convinced now.
Last night, Mike Bray had the Notre Dame team to his house for dinner. They had lasagna, and he said, I want you guys to treat this like the BC game. They were number 1. We played with great passion. If you go out with that kind of effort, you will win this game. Well, we haven't seen that on the board so far, Dave.
Last 5 minutes of the first half, it looked like Notre Dame was getting control of things, but they have not carried it over since intermission. 15 and a half minutes to go. 40-34 for Holy Cross, staking out ownership of the offensive glass. We'll update Temple when we come back.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship begins Saturday at noon Eastern on ESPN.
Nice. Whoa. Oh, man. Look at that. Uh-oh. Oh, my gosh. No way.
Why miss a single moment?
You.
The extraordinary power of Energizer E² lithium lasts up to 7 times longer in digital cameras. Energizer.
Hey, come on,
Keep
man.
going.
Again.
Is your name Dante? Where did you hear that?
From your brother.
The prequel to the legendary Devil May Cry explodes with unrelenting action. Choose multiple fighting styles and become one hardcore demon slayer. Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. Rated M for mature. Sweet dreams.
Get the Edge cutting system now and give yourself a John Deere yarn for a long, long time. Get a free cart with select John Deere tractors.
Look at this place. What do these guys have that we don't have?
Well, they do have the rotary-powered Mazda RX-8, the Tribute, Mazda 3, 2005 Automobile Magazine All-Star, and the thing no one else has, Zoom, Zoom.
Okay, we got it.
It's the Mazdas on the Move sales event. For a limited time, lease the Mazda 3i 4-door for just $179 a month for 36 months with $19.99 to at lease signing.
Call you back.
Hurry, offers end March 31st.
Even with good credit, getting a home loan can be a long process. But at eLoan, you apply in just minutes, either online or over the phone. There's a lot less paperwork, and you get a loan decision fast. It's lending the way it was meant to be. Apply now at eLoan.com.
Over on ESPNU, John Chaney back on the bench for Temple at Virginia Tech. And very early on in this one, Wayne Marshall getting 2 for the Owls. A rebound follow in the lane. 5-3 at that point. It's Temple on top. 11-3 on ESPNU. And on ESPN, Oakland in the opening round game by 10 over Alabama A&M. Dave?
Dave Repson here, 40-34, Holy Cross. Temple with John Chaney coaching over on ESPNU. By his own logic, when he took himself out late in the regular season, Shouldn't he still be out because the player who was injured because of his coaching demands is also still out?
I don't think this has been handled very well by anybody at Temple, and in my estimation, John Chaney should not coach again this year. Take a look at it after the season, but it's not logical to me.
Should he coach again ever?
It's a tough one. You know, off the top of my head, I hate to say that a legend should ever have to leave, but he did not act with leadership. He did not set an example for his players, and I don't think that he should.
Off the knee of Hamilton and out of bounds. I agree. If you consider what Woody Hayes did to lose his job at Ohio State, momentary flash of anger, the player involved for Clemson, Charlie Bauman, was not injured. This is 20 times worse than that.
I agree. And how nice to see all these games on the U.
Hamilton draws the contact, and he'll shoot for three.
You know, Hamilton is such a neat story. When he arrived on campus, he said that he couldn't even dunk a basketball. And maybe one of the positive things that happened to him, when he broke his wrist, he's actually broken his left wrist 3 times. He wasn't able to shoot. He couldn't lift weights. So he focused very hard on his legs. And he said from doing that, it helped his ups, and now all of a sudden he can play above the rim.
Can he ever? Second half, 11-2 Crusaders. A flat start for the Irish. A fired up Holy Cross team. Doesn't get that many shots at a win the caliber of what they are going after tonight at South Bend. And that may be the 4th foul on Hurley. NIT presented by Jordan tonight and tomorrow. DePaul, Missouri, 9 Eastern to 9 p.m. And for the second straight year, the NIT field includes Indiana. They get into action against Vanderbilt tomorrow here on ESPN2 at 8 Eastern from Bloomington.
How disappointing for DePaul. Just like this Notre Dame team. And also, Dave, I don't think Notre Dame deserved to be in the NCAA with 17 victories. And I don't think DePaul did either. Those are 2 teams that in their last game, if they win, they're in. They had an opportunity, and they just didn't get it done.
One more for Turin Francis. NIT field includes both the teams that made the NCAA championship round just 3 years ago, Maryland and Indiana. Notre Dame for the 2nd straight year. Holy Cross, on the other hand, in its first NIT since 1990. But they had a run of 3 straight NCAA appearances, and all 3 years, 2001, 2, and 3, they were very near a first-round upset. Keith Simmons extends the lead back to 9 for the Crusaders. We were tied at 32 at the half. Pat Doherty with the reach outside is first.
Keith Simmons is so unique to find a bench player that is all league. Coach came up to him before the season and talked about Kinsey. He's a 4-year player, played in 2 NCAAs. Asked Simmons if he'd be willing to use his athleticism and energy off the bench. And what a luxury item that is to have a guy that's cerebral. He's smart. He sits there. He watches the game. And when he comes in, he has such fabulous energy. They actually get better when he comes in the game.
Boy, 2 touch fouls in a row. Out on the perimeter, charged to Doherty. Hamilton knocking that one out.
This is a possession, Dave, where I think they need to try to get the ball inside to Turin Francis. They're just not getting good shots now.
Doherty cannot get the layup. Holy Cross has missed a ton of layups. They're shooting 50% from the line, and yet they're in charge of this game as Jordan Cornette misses the quick 3. Straight on, good look. Hamilton nails the tray. His 2nd of the night, the biggest lead for either team. Holy Cross has it up to 12.
I'm going to say it again. Get your big guys involved. You play in the Big East. You're used to physical contest. Get it in there, and you'll get some good stuff going.
Holy Cross knows that, and the way they draw back in deep whenever they can sense that Thomas is going to try and hit Francis inside, or Kurz, who's had the game of his life. They get these deflections and steals. They want 40 deflections per game. They average more than 10 steals per game. That's an awful lot for anybody, especially a team that doesn't press. So Notre Dame trying to follow the game plan you're talking about here, and Rob Kurz having the game of his life. The freshman who had totaled 8 points all season in 13 games has already got a career high tonight, 6 points and 5 boards.
It's always a good sign when a young player can get early success. He got a layup as soon as he came in the game. And all of a sudden he entered that feel-good zone where he started feeling like he knows what he's doing out there. But I think the big problem with Chris Quinn on the bench, they've become very predictable offensively. And against a team from the Patriot League, and Dave, you could probably relate to this. You think of the Patriot League, you're thinking probably smart kids that are undersized. But this Holy Cross team has some big guys inside. They're smart, and they're also pretty athletic on the perimeter.
1 of 2 for Kurz, who had shot 3 free throws all season. He has shot 9 tonight. He's 5 out of 9. Some needed offense with the absence of Quinn. And Hamilton draws the foul. What's happened to Colin Falls? Has he even touched it this half?
Nope, and that's a good defensive adjustment by Ralph Willard. Remember, it's a team that really is dependent on their scouting report. Willard told me that for a typical game, he watches 15 hours of tape. His assistants, it's more like 45. And in a quick turnaround like this, remember, they didn't find out until 10:25 on Sunday night that they were playing Notre Dame. They didn't get any film until this morning. So with this quick turnaround, one of the best things that Holy Cross does, their preparation, they didn't get a chance to do it.
They already have Notre Dame over the limit. 17 foul. It is the 3rd on Falls. And Hamilton knocks them both down. They have stretched the lead to 13. Hamilton with 9 of his 16 here in the second half. There's Colin Falls. Where's he been?
And that was a tough shot.
4-3 of the night. He's got 15 points. Notre Dame needs more where that came from. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Driving scoop, missed by Simmons. Tip wouldn't go. Coming out of the pack again, Hamilton sets up Doherty. His three-pointer no good, and rebounded by Colin Falls. This is the first meeting between these two famous Catholic programs in 20 years. Notre Dame won by 35 points 20 years ago. Carter with the 3, cuts it to 7, and a timeout with 11.5 minutes remaining. Notre Dame has won 10 of the 12 previous meetings. Holy Cross doesn't get that many shots to be the nation's most prominent Catholic institution. They don't care if it's the NIT. They'll take a win over Notre Dame anytime, anywhere. They're up by 7.
MLB 2006. Nothing is more true to the game. Rated E for everyone.
Nissan introduced the full-size Armada, a 7-passenger Pathfinder, and the all-new 2005 Xterra. What's next? Nissan's Drive to a Million sales event. We're out to break a record, so you get a great offer on Nissan SUVs, like 2% financing or $1,500 cash back on the full-size Nissan Armada. See your Nissan dealer by March 31st. We're in a Drive to a Million, so you get a great offer on a Nissan SUV.
Kids,
I just got a couple questions for you. Anyone know the student per teacher ratio in your classroom? What about discretionary spending per student? Nothing? Come on. You? Huh? You with the funky hair. No? What's the matriculation percentage?
She's crazy. There's a better way to get information to help you choose the right home. Century21.com provides in-depth community information backed by a 21-point pledge. For the information you need, go to century21.com.
I need a key to my room.
Are you done with the sports section? Checking in on the opening round game over on ESPN, and Oakland's starting to run away with this thing. 4th game in 5 days for Alabama A&M, and it's kind of catching up with them right here. Brandon Cassie taking it the distance. It's a 14-point lead for the Grizzlies.
Amazing story. Seen 6 games under 500.
They have 2 star players, Raul Marshall, who the NBA is watching, and Courtney Scott, who originally went to Iowa State and transferred back. He actually was on the same team as Marcus Taylor. Remember him in Michigan State in Lansing?
Here it's Holy Cross with the lead cut to 7 on a 7-2 run by the Irish over the last minute and a half. The only life we've seen from them this entire second half. Nate Lufkin is rejected point blank by Cornett, and it's Carter almost walking, falls, 3-pointer, rebounded by Cornett, and he's fouled. Notre Dame got back in this thing late in the first half when they found their inside muscle and complemented it with Colin Fall's bombs from outside. Maybe the same formula is what is needed here. Timeout.
ESPN's Dream Job returns with a new spin.
Dreams really do come true.
As ESPN searches for the next NBA analyst, see if these former NBA players can go shot for shot.
That's what we want from an analyst. Show your opinion.
Rebound from mistakes.
I felt you struggled miserably.
And make it to the finals.
You weren't that close. You know what you're talking about.
If these guys are off their game, they won't stay in ours. Dream Job, live every Sunday night at 10 Eastern on ESPN.
Waking up to a new kind of performance sedan. This is the first ever Pontiac G6. And things are a lot different in here. See your participating New England Pontiac dealer.
John Chaney's return to the bench for Temple, facing Virginia Tech, and Dustin Salisbury working the baseline there and working it well for the Owls, who right now trail in this one 17-16. That's an NIT first-round game. Also in the NIT, South Carolina leading Miami right now by 5 in the second half. Dave?
Very surprising Holy Cross Notre Dame game here. This first round NIT presented by Jordan being dominated by the Crusaders with 10:55 to go. Notre Dame with a little bit of a run going, though, over the last 2.5 minutes. Cornette will shoot one more free throw.
Cornette with the musical name. Played drums in high school, and Davies learning how to play the piano here at Notre Dame. Probably the top interior athlete that Notre Dame has.
Here you see why Notre Dame is even within 5. Getting to the line and taking advantage. Thomas with the rejection. Chris Thomas has had a couple of these, one of which in the first half should have been a goaltend. Clean all the way here. Rob Kerr's a hand. The freshman checks out.
Enjoyed the work of Torrey Thomas at the point guard. Learned his craft under the tutelage of Jave Meade, the all-time steals and assists leader in the Patriot League.
Shot clock down to 8. Notre Dame now much more interested in defending than they were the first 6 or 7 minutes of this half.
Hasn't it been an interesting game, though, from a streak standpoint? One team gets it going, and the other seems as if it can't get anything going. And right now, it's Notre Dame that's playing ball.
Thomas, Torrey over Chris with the shot clock winding down. He has made his tough shots tonight, and he's missed the layups. Go figure. Torrey Thomas with 7. The lead is back to 7. Traveling wave off what Cornette hoped was going to be a 3-point play.
Bray hates it. 13th turnover. Notre Dame has been careless. See, anytime Notre Dame goes to the rim, Holy Cross has an answer with a double team coming.
Is it Notre Dame being careless, or is it Holy Cross being relentless? Maybe a little of both. 3-second violation.
Torrey Thomas went to school in Stamford, Connecticut. He grew up in the projects of Westchester. Every day he took a bus, 2 connections, 80 minutes both ways to get to high school. And when Ralph Willard heard about him, he went to scout him, and he saw that he's so small, and he just didn't really think that he wanted to recruit him until he met him. And he provided so much leadership and confidence during the discussion. Willard said, I have to have this kid in my program.
He produced 2 state championships at Trinity Catholic in Connecticut. Chris Thomas with 7. Torrey has matched him point for point. 9.5 minutes to go. Torrey Thomas too quick. He has had no problem penetrating. He's had a big problem finishing, but now he may have that solved. Holy Cross, the regular season champs out of the Patriot League, going for their 25th victory of the year against 6 losses, 5 of which happened against teams in the NCAA tournament.
Thomas and Thomas, sounds like a law firm. Torrey Thomas has really impressed me with the way that he is so solid with the ball, plays both ends of the court. This is an opportunity. The Holy Cross players were telling me that they watched Notre Dame beat Boston College in here. The big reason is that Holy Cross took BC to overtime, had many chances to win that thing, and they felt like they had a pretty good chance to measure up.
Almost the roll by Hamilton, and give the tip in on what was very nearly goaltending to John Hurley, his first basket. And the lead to 9 falls, leaning into Simmons, who says, I was doing nothing to draw that foul. He was straight up and down, he thought, but he's called for the foul, his first.
Hurley does his best work on the offensive glass. Very athletic. Is it goaltending? Very close. And he's the 8th Holy Cross player to score so far. Colin Falls at the line. And Dave, you have to marvel at the improvement for this kid in Big East play. Jared Dudley from BC, Marcus Williams from UConn, and Colin Falls have to be considered the 3 most improved players in the Big East.
16th point. He has yet to get anything from the field that's not a three-pointer, and that's very much in character for his season. He has 92% of his baskets from three. 8 two-pointers all season for Colin Falls.
You would think that he'd be pretty easy to cover, and with scouting reports so deep in March that nobody would ever leave him, but it shows what a good ball player is, that he can still find a way to get those shots off.
6 of 6 at the line. 18 points. Falls only Notre Dame double-figure scorer, and they're back within 6. Holy Cross among the hottest teams in the country with a 16-game winning streak until their tournament final loss to Bucknell, which beat them twice this year. Nice runner. Hamilton, the Patriot League Player of the Year with 18. We got him for another year. Junior from Queens Village, New York. Their top scorer, top 10 in the country in steals.
Player of the Year in the Patriot League.
Now Chris Thomas got him up off his feet and barely draws iron, but he comes up with his own board and is tripped up. Really one of the few times tonight that the Irish have matched Holy Cross's effort. 7:47 remaining. First round action in the NIT presented by Jordan.
Nissan introduced 10 bold, powerful cars and trucks. What's next? Nissan's Drive to a Million sales event. We're out to break a record, so you get a great offer, like a $199 per month lease on the stylish and powerful Nissan Altima. See your Nissan dealer by March 31st. We're in a Drive to a Million, so you get great offers on new Nissans.
Expect faster rewards. Introducing the City Premier Pass credit card, the only card that gives you thank you points for the things you buy and the miles you fly on any airline.
Is your name Dante? Where did you hear that? From your brother.
The prequel to the legendary Devil May Cry explodes with unrelenting action. Choose multiple fighting styles and become one hardcore demon slayer. Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. Rated M for mature. Sweet dreams.
In this high-pressure, go-go-go world, it's hard to find time to eat healthy. Well, at least it was. Introducing the Fresh Fruit Bowl and Cup only at Wendy's. Honeydew, cantaloupe, pineapple, and grapes. Served with a low-fat yogurt dip and made throughout the day. Nothing like a fresh idea to get busy people's attention. Wendy's, it's better here.
ESPN2's exclusive coverage of the NIT is presented by Jordan. Will you be the one? And in part by the City Premier Pass credit card.
Holy Cross by 8, 7:47 to go. Here at the Joyce Center, the campus of Notre Dame. NBA Nation follows our game on ESPN2. Matt Weiner, Greg Anthony, Tim Legler. Action from all over the NBA. And after the timeout, Thomas with his 8th point. 6 assists. But he has had turnover trouble. Holy Cross by 6.
Little defensive adjustment out of a timeout. Take Holy Cross out of the set. This is the time that I believe that you go to Simmons or Hamilton. Your two guys, this is a very important possession. Up 6, under 8.
Hurley still in there with 4 fouls. And there was Simmons. And here comes Chris Thomas. Big possession for Notre Dame. Down by as many as 13 here in the second half. Chris Thomas throws it away out of the double team right to Nate Lefkin. 14 Irish turnovers, and they have forced only 5 by the Crusaders. Points off turnovers, 14-4, Holy Cross. Lufkin from Thomas. Swatted back by Francis. And we keep tracking this number, Tim. This is just more astounding than ever. Holy Cross has taken 31 more shots than Notre Dame. Wow. 64 attempts to 33. Now, Notre Dame's getting to the line a lot, but not that much. Offensive foul. Hers with his 3rd. If you haven't caught the most innovative NBA program on television yet, again, this follows us tonight. NBA Nation, up-to-date news and information, analysis, opinions, live look-ins to games in progress from around the league right after we finish up here from South Bend here on ESPN2.
Yeah, and if you want to find out about Antoine Walker and his reemergence with the Celtics, check out NBA Nation and look at the field goal attempts for Holy Cross. That's been the big story on the offensive glass and also in the turnover department for Notre Dame.
Hamilton turned into the turnover. Russell Carter and taken right back by Corey Thomas. You got to say he is outplaying the much more famous of the 2 Thomas point guards tonight.
When you look at this defense, Mike Bray said you can never really tell if it's a man or a zone, so they run a lot of motion, and that is a tough shot.
Pauls only thought he was going to get the foul. I don't think there was any other reason to throw that one up. Thomas now nails it. Second 3 tonight for Chris Thomas. And a timeout in a 5-point game. Thomas in his 128th start. Every game he has been here at Notre Dame. An all-time school record, 111th time of those 128 he's been in double figures. That's how consistent he's been in 4 years.
Last night, Mike Bray had a chance to talk to his 2 seniors, Chris Thomas and Jordan Cornette. He told both of them, you guys are seniors. We can't have any more film sessions. You know what I expect. Be strong with the ball. And they have not, and that's been a major problem for Notre Dame. Their turnover numbers continue to rise.
Or again, Holy Cross simply looks like the team that's more interested in advancing. And they had to be the more disappointed of the 2. They lost their tournament final on their home floor after they'd gone 13-1 in the Patriot League during the regular season.
I think the big story right now, Dave, is this the home stretch of Chris Thomas's college career?
He's got 5 minutes and 12 seconds in which to decide that. John Hurley. Too much traffic in the lane and taken away by Rick Cornette. That is only 7 Holy Cross turnovers. Thomas may be ready to take over. A quick 2 after the steal. That followed a 3. Timeout, 4:53 remaining. Remember, they're having to do without Chris Quinn, the best 3-point shooter in the Big East, who's sitting this one out because of the bruised right collarbone he suffered in the first half of the first-round loss in the Big East tournament to Rutgers.
Off the dribble, Chris Thomas goes both ways. Is he an NBA prospect, or is he a great college player? A lot of it will depend on who he gets drafted by, if drafted at all. I think it would be better off for Chris Thomas if he's not drafted, and that way he has the freedom to try out for any NBA team that may be in need of backup point guard help.
Well, there's really not all that much difference between being, if you're not going to be a first-round pick and really in the middle to the top of the first round, second round versus free agent. Some people who are second-round picks would probably tell you they would rather have been a free agent.
Well, Jason Gardner from Arizona, not on an NBA team, went to the wrong team in the draft. Lionel Chalmers from Xavier, similar player. He's a backup in the NBA because he got drafted to the right team.
Traveling on Hamilton. And despite these huge edges in all the areas that we've documented for you, many, many more shots, forcing about twice as many turnovers, and the 16-6 edge in points off turnovers. Holy Cross's 13-point lead may be gone this possession. Notre Dame with the pick and roll. Cornette from Thomas. It's a one-point game. Three-quarter court press. Crusaders beat it with ease. And John Hurley inside with Nate Lufkin. The contact on Rick Cornette, his second.
Yeah, you like the dunk, but appreciate the delivery. It's a high double screen and roll, and one of the few defensive mistakes that we've seen from Holy Cross. And Nate Lufkin's going to have to go get tended to on the bench. He took a real tough shot as he tried to get to the rim. It may be a contact lens issue.
Well, it's one that they saw in record time. I've never seen a contact replace that fast. Nate with maybe just 4 minutes, 6 seconds left in his career. Senior from Austin, Texas. Started his career as the Patriot Rookie of the Year as a freshman. He was a very solid contributor his whole career. He was their all-time shot blocking leader. And with 8 points and 6 boards on the line, makes it a 2-point game.
Do you have a reason or an answer why he has one high sock and one low one?
That's got to be one of those personal superstitions. Only thing that comes to mind.
Remember, he's the abstract painter. He's a little bit artistic. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Comes out to try and get the ball out of Thomas's hands. Chris arguing he was fouled on the air ball. Hamilton this time showing 3 and getting the roll on the 2. 20 for Kevin Hamilton.
Those soft rims here at Joyce Center.
Quick 3 is in and out by Falls. One of the few that has not fallen for college. And Torrey Thomas hitting all the tough shots now. Missed some easy ones in the first half. Obviously inspired by the chance to go head-to-head with Chris Thomas, and he's more than held his own. 13.6 assists for Torrey, 7 assists for Chris. And a tough call here on Lufkin, who says I was reaching straight up in the air. On him nonetheless. Timeout. 3:04 remaining.
Panasonic Toughbook PC is powered with Intel Centrino mobile technology. Panasonic, ideas for life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I live the Army values.
I will never accept defeat.
I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough.
I am a professional.
I am a professional.
I am the guardian of freedom
And the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am the Army National Guard.
Defend freedom. In the Army National Guard, you can. Visit 1-800-GO-GUARD.com today.
Get the Edge cutting system now and give yourself a John Deere yarn for a long, long time. Get a free cart with select John Deere tractors.
New Dentine Ice Vanilla Chill. A kick of icy flavor that's surprisingly smooth. New Dentine Ice Vanilla Chill.
It's time for Dodger baseball. I give all the credit to my mom. She is the reason that I am blue. In my neighborhood, everyone speaks Spanish. She would put me in front of the TV and ask me, well, what's going on? And I learned my English from Vince Scully. He was my teacher. And here comes the southpaw from Mexico.
And he did it with the curve.
My mom and I can't wait for the season to start. The Dodgers are the blanket that keep us together. Yo vivo para esto. I live for this.
The wait is almost over. Major League Baseball's opening day is coming.
Over on ESPNU, Temple and Virginia Tech. John Chaney's return to the bench for the Owls. Very late in the first half, Winton Witherspoon hits the three. It's the Hokies by 6 at the break, and it looks like Oakland is moving on to take on North Carolina. They lead Alabama A&M by 17 on ESPN. Dave?
Wow, amazing story there. We are first-round NIT action presented by Jordan. The Joyce Center in South Bend, Dave Barnett and Tim McCormick, and Holy Cross in its first meeting in 20 years with Notre Dame up by 6, up by 5 as Chris Thomas hits the first free throw with 3:04 remaining.
And Chris Thomas in jeopardy of playing his last game for the Irish. And also you have to ask the question, what about Mike Bray with Pete Gillen being dismissed at Virginia? His name has circulated as a possible candidate.
Well, a lot of people are asking that question. One answer is last fall, Bray signed an extension through the 2010-2011 season. Now, that's a pretty sizable buyout if there were to be anything to the rumors, and Bray says they are just that. Traveling on Torrey Thomas. They've avoided turnovers all night, but they've had some timely ones go against them here down the stretch in the second half. They're 9th of the game. Chris Thomas disappointed in what he thought was his home finale against Pittsburgh. He shot just 2 of 13 a few days ago, and he wanted to go out on a much more representative note, signifying how his career has gone at his 4 memorable years at Notre Dame. They still trail by 4 with 2:13 to go. Timeout Crusaders. Mike Bray addressing the rumors about Virginia. He says they are just that, rumors.
I think my track record as far as my commitment here at Notre Dame has been extremely strong. Being here 5 years, we've been really solid. I signed a contract extension back in October that gets me, locks me in through 2011. I'm going on the road recruiting after this game tonight for Notre Dame. So there's where my mindset is. You get a little frustrated with different people speaking for you out there. But I've been very committed here, and I think my track record speaks for it.
Mike Bray addressing the rumors of going to Virginia. And Dave, how ironic with the additions to the Big East from Conference USA. The ACC might be a more favorable conference to try to get to the NCAA. Can you imagine the 8-9 game in the Big East next year with both teams probably being NCAA bound?
Foot block here by Chris Thomas. Reset shot clock. It's one of those stories that gets out there partly because of geography. Bray is a native of ACC territory, Bethesda, Maryland. Coached for 8 years as an assistant to Duke. But right now, which has the better basketball program? The one here at Notre Dame or the one that just let Pete Gillen go at Virginia? It's got to be the one here. Nate Lufkin carves out inside position. And a 6-point lead, 1:48 remaining. Chris Thomas misses the 3. Rebound Hurley. And Holy Cross a 2-possession game. And 90 seconds away from a rather sizable first-round upset on the road in South Bend to begin the NIT. Foul on Rick Cornett with 1:23. Holy Cross, regular season Patriot League champs, upset in their tournament final at home by Bucknell, one of only 6 losses against 24 wins. Notre Dame 17-11. They were 6th seeded in the Big East. They lost to last place Rutgers in the first round of that conference's tournament. But they get a home court advantage here to begin the NIT. And they have trailed most of the game by as many as 13. They pulled even at 32 at the half. Holy Cross with the quick start to the second half built that 13-point lead. It's now back up to 8 on the free throws by Keith Simmons.
Now, if anybody can make a comeback, the Irish lead the Big East in 3-pointers made. Remember, Chris Quinn is not playing because of the clavicle injury.
Cornette nails it straight on. Jordan Cornette with his first basket of the game, and he cuts it to 5 with 1:14. Next to last timeout called here by the Irish. March 17th and 18th, show your spirit by wearing your favorite team's apparel to work. In exchange, each participant can make a donation of $5 or more to the V Foundation, benefiting cancer research in honor of Jimmy Valvano. Anyone can participate. And for more details, log on to jimmyv.org.
Wearing their school colors to work, maybe on the 17th, 18th. Jordan Cornette is a senior. The 4th option typically on offense. Very nice to have a guy that big that can step out on the court and make threes. And remember, he is the leading shot blocker now in Irish history, passing LaFonso Ellis.
13th meeting all time between these two very well-known Catholic schools. Notre Dame has won the last 6 going back to February 13th, 1956 at the Boston Garden, the last time Holy Cross beat the Irish. They're a minute 14 away from a stunner, and they have a wide-open John Hurley down the floor, but they couldn't see him.
Foul shooting a problem for Holy Cross, 67%. This is where they lost the opportunity to beat Boston College earlier this year. And Dave, if you don't like 67%, if you don't think that's very good, well, last year, this team shot 59%, and they lost 9 games by 6 points or less.
So hard to figure how a team that shoots, for instance, 3-pointers as well as Holy Cross does, has had the trouble they've had at the line. They are with that by Thomas, 12 out of 19. Notre Dame 22 of 28. The main way Notre Dame has been able to stay in this game has been their advantage at the line. Torrey Thomas steps up, nails a pair, 7 points. Holy Cross with a minute remaining.
And
Chris Thomas seemed to sense Torrey Thomas reaching from behind, and he still turned it over. Kevin Hamilton, the Patriot League Player of the Year, comes away with the steal, and Holy Cross starting to celebrate.
And do you think Holy Cross has taken this game very serious? Absolutely. Ralph Willard said that they had a little bit of slippage. They had won 16 straight games, and he saw it coming on the defensive end of the court. They had a great season, and maybe the turning point was a game in which they played at Bucknell. They were down 22-5 in the first half. Bucknell, a real good team that just happened to have an outstanding shooting game.
Holy Cross had an RPI of 50 tournament teams like UC State. League final, and they plays go 20. and 6. Any year, the NIT is more than happy to take a team with that record into its field. Rob Kurz with the foul, 42.1 seconds remaining. When we're finished up here, we will take you to NBA Nation, and you'll be able to catch up as it happens on everything going on around the league tonight, including live look-ins from games in progress. Rob Kurz, freshman who has gotten protection. Notre Dame career high, 8 points.
And he's been so active that he's put Tyrin Francis and Dennis Lattimore on the bench. A couple veteran players. It doesn't mess around.
Thomas picks up